Hi, my name is Sean Mahoney, and this is my final WordPress project. I chose to do a page for my band called the Trash Cats. I went with a theme called Typology here, which wasn't my first choice of theme. If I jump over to themes here, you can see I think I installed and tried 13 different themes before settling on that one. I was really hoping to use one of these, giant image with the content on top of it. That's sort of what I think of when I think of WordPress. It makes things like that so much easier in these like more complicated multi-column layouts, but I was still finding a hard time getting them to work the way that I wanted to, and the readability was suffering. So I did end up going with Typology, which is a sleek-looking theme. It's very dark, which allows, the important stuff to really pop here, like your name on your heading. I chose to use a posterized black and white image as well, just to, really make that pop on top. So the theme contains the heading image, the header, the nav bar, these two widgets on the side, which includes a little calendar of upcoming shows, as well as our social media links, all of which are functional links including the mail to on the email. And then it contains this footer as well, where I get the copyright information and another contact us link. And then the content of the page comes to the left here. So on my home page, just have a couple little blurbs, to familiarize a user if they land here for the first time with what they're looking at. But the most important thing, I think, is this nav bar right here. So if someone wants to find out more, they can start moving their way through. You jump over to the About page, you'll see the widgets stay the same, the header, the nav bar all stay the same. One thing I did find WordPress was exceptionally good at was allowing the text wrapping and the floating of these images here. I tried to do a similar layout to this last year in one of my projects with Bootstrap, and while it did work, it was far easier on WordPress. I mean, this only took me a few minutes to put together versus fighting through rows and rows of Bootstrap. And as you can see here, it's all very responsive. The text wraps as it's supposed to. And scroll down, everything is, as you move in and out, everything moves the way that it's supposed to. The whole page is responsive, actually. You can see everything collapses, your widgets are still there, the menu drops down to the bottom, and you're able to search the menu that way instead. So we come back up, we'll head over to the music page. The music and video pages are pretty similar, although we'll talk about plugins a little bit. I had to get a couple of specific plugins to make here's SoundCloud shortcode and then the ARV Advanced Responsive Video Embedder to make sure that the embeds were responsive as well. When I first made the page, the SoundCloud ones, when you would collapse, it would break the layout and it would kind of extend out beyond the edge of the page there. But as you can see, they're responsive now thanks to those plugins. The same thing is true of the videos. I had the same issue there where when I first would pull them up on my phone or try to shrink the window, the layout would break and the videos would be too wide, but you can see now they are responsive. We'll jump over to the blog, which is important, especially on a site like this, because if you're dealing with fans, you really want to encourage them to come back to the site and you want to encourage interaction. So here they're able to leave comments. They can see a little bit behind the scenes of what a song is about. They can, in this case, watch a live video of it, and then they can read all of the lyrics. I have a couple of different ones here. You can see the same thing is true here with the lyrics and a blurb. On my calendar page here, I used an application through Facebook called Bands in Town, where we keep a calendar. You're able to get a simple widget, pull that over. And then the last page is the contact page. This form was created using Contact Bank Link Edition, or Lite Edition. which creates easy forms quickly, no problem, and also allows you to bank that contact information, so you could start like a mailing list or something. The other plugins that I used were Akismet, which we all know is to weed out the would-be spammers, landing pages, and Yoast SEO. I used the landing pages to build my landing page, of course, and it also came with another forms plugin. It's called Inbound Forms. You would create your forms for your landing page on here to make a mailing list, and then it gives you a short code. I was a little bit bummed out by my landing page. Much like themes, I did spend a fair amount of time going through landing page plugins, and the when you work with WordPress, one of the things you kind of give up is easy control. Now I could build something simple like this landing page from the ground up, like a lot easier, coding it by hand, and then have control over every color much easier. I wouldn't wind up with these goofy looking giant boxes, for instance, which I could not figure out what PHP file to change to make that a more reasonable size, even though if you can see the text is super tiny inside of it. And even just I wanted to change this heading color, and digging in and trying to find, I couldn't just use regular CSS. I tried to put a div on it, make a CSS rule, and it didn't work. It says you need to use these special CSS rules, blah, blah, blah. So I found that a little frustrating, which I also found frustrating with my theme. But some of the trade-off is, of course, how quickly and easily you can build these things without having to code them all from the ground up by hand. And then, of course, the last tool that I used a lot of, which I think we used in class as well, is this Yoast SEO, which you have a dashboard where you can look, and if there are any serious SEO issues, you'll be notified here. But then also, more importantly, in my opinion, you can get a score on every page that you do. So I made sure that my home page as well as my blog posts scored very well in both readability and SEO. I figured that for the type of site that I was building, and the fact that you're able to get to every page from each other page, that I wouldn't have to worry so much about SEO, specifically on the blog pages, the calendar. A lot of times these scores are sort of artificially inflated anyway. Like, for instance, the blog page, if you want to look at it, the readability is terrible because it says that there's no content on it, but of course the content on it is the blog posts, which have a high SEO rating. So there's some give and take there as well, but I really focused on the home page, making sure that I had good SEO so that anyone trying to find any of this information from any of our pages would be able to at least find their way to the home page. So you're able there to create your title, a slug line if you want, a meta tag description, which all this is what shows up in Google if you search. And then, of course, down here we have your analysis, so it can tell you where you've done well, where you could improve. So overall, pretty happy with the way the page came out. I definitely learned a lot about using WordPress, even just digging in, to make the little thing at the bottom that says built by WordPress go away. You spend 20 minutes digging in PHP files and learning about how all that works. This theme, for instance, also did this weird thing where it would always truncate your content here, and there'd be like a read more thing. I had to go into some PHP methods and figure out how to make that go away so that my stuff would just appear the way I hoped. So in the end, did I maybe spend more time digging through PHP than I would have writing code? I'm going to say probably not. But those trade-offs are there, and of course, like anything else, the more time you spend with WordPress, the faster you'll be able to sort of parse through those PHP files and figure out what you need to change.